What's up, everybody? It's me, your teacher, back with another one. Today, we just finished up integers, right? Integers and rational numbers, positive and negative numbers, right? And we're kind of getting the concept of them here and how they're a little bit backwards than positive numbers. Um, but what we're going to do today and tomorrow is the coordinate plane, right? This might look familiar to some of you guys. A lot of people really enjoy working on these, something they can they get a little bit better. So hopefully it's a nice little change of pace from what we've been doing. So we're gonna do this the next 2 days. This is a video for today. We're not gonna have a video tomorrow. We're just gonna have an assignment that's gonna build on this a little bit. But let's go ahead and get started here. A coordinate plane is formed when you have two lines that intersect each other perpendicularly, right? They look like this. This is the y-axis, right? Goes this way, and then you have an x-axis that goes that way. That's what makes a coordinate plane. The two most important parts right there. They have to be perpendicular lines like this. Okay. Now, what happens when these two lines cross each other is it creates four boxes, right? And what we're going to learn today is what those boxes are called. These are called quadrants. Okay. New word, quadrant. It means an area, right? A space. So quadrant one, this space over here, we call quadrant one. Over here, right to the left of that, we call quadrant 2. Down here, we call this quadrant 3. And over here, we call this quadrant 4. And if these look weird to you, that's okay. Those are Roman numerals, right? This means 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, what's important about these quadrants is that in each quadrant, you're going to have a specific type of coordinate. If you have a dot over in this quadrant over here, say, for example, we go over 2, up 5, and we have this point right here. Both of those numbers for that point, 2, 5, are positive. So any number or any point in quadrant 1 will always have a positive x and a positive y. 2 and 5 will both be positive, right? Any dot that's over here. If there's a dot over here in quadrant 2, say at -2, 5, like right here, then the first number will always be negative. If there is a number down or a point down there in quadrant 3, then they're both going to be negative. Say -2, -5. Say it's down here. Then that point will be -2, -5. And then if it's over here in quadrant 4, then it's going to be a positive x value and a negative y value. So you can clearly see you're going to have different types of coordinates for each one of these. Quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the idea would be if I were to give you, say, a coordinate, could you tell me what quadrant it was in just based on if the numbers were positive or negative? For example, what if I gave you this? The coordinate 4, -2. What quadrant would that be in? And if you're good at finding points on a coordinate plane, then you would know you just go over 4, and then because the first number tells you whether to go left or right, Since it's positive, we go right 4, and then the second number is a negative, so it's going to tell us to go down 2. So it'd actually be in quadrant 4. Let me give you another one. Try this one. What about the coordinate -3, -3? What quadrant would that be in? Would it be in quadrant 1? Are those numbers negative? No. We're looking for two negatives, right? Are both those numbers negative? No. How about on here? Both those numbers negative? Yes. And in fact, you would go, because the first number is negative, you go backwards 3. And the second number is negative, you go down 3. You would be in quadrant 3. So that's our first introduction, right, to quadrants. Let's do a quick refresher. I'm not going to tell you guys I just missed that shot. That's a little embarrassing. We're gonna move on here. If a little refresher on how to find points on a coordinate plane, right? If I were to give you a spot on here, could you tell me what the coordinate was? For example, if I said here is point C, and I were to ask you what is the coordinates of point C, could you tell me what that ordered pair was? And remember, an ordered pair is, in parentheses, the x value and the y value. X meaning on the x-axis, right? What number is it on here? And the y meaning what number is it on here, right? So if we look where c is on the x-axis, it looks like it lines up with 2. So that'll be 2. And then on the y-axis, it lines up with 4. So it looks like it will be 2, 4. And it in fact is. Okay? But now that we're working with the coordinate plane with negative numbers, let's try and see if you guys can find this one here. Let's say point B. Can you tell me the coordinates of point B? See if you can figure that out really quick. If you got to pause it, pause it. Let's see if you can tell me what the coordinates for point B are. Okay, so our x values first. X is always first, right? This is point C, right? Now we want point B. So we know it's going to be in parentheses, and we want the x value first. So the x means we go left or right. Well, it looks like it's going left. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like the x value is -6 because we went left, -6. And then it looks like it goes up 1. So it looks like it's a positive because we're going up 1. So it's -6, 1. So that is the first type of question I could give you, right? I could also just give you the ordered pair and say plot it on the number. So what if, for example, I gave you the ordered pair 4, -3. And I said to plot this ordered pair on this over here. Well, okay, you would start from 0. We always start from the middle, right? And you would look at the first numbers of 4. And we know that that's the x value. So we know we're going to either be going left or we're either going right. Since it's positive, we're going to go right 4. And since the next one is a negative, that means we're going down 3. So we go over 4, down 3. That's what this says right here. Over 4, down 3. And it looks like our spot right there would be on the coordinate plane. And that is graphing on the coordinate plane in all 4 quadrants. Need that one. Now, reflections. Reflections are kind of cool because I could ask you to take a point on a coordinate plane and reflect it over one of the axes, right? It's kind of like if I took this piece of paper and I drew a line down the center, and then I folded it over that line. And let me see if I can make this work. Just gonna color in real good. Let's see if it worked. If it did, then I can reflect this dot onto this other side of that line perfectly. Check that out, right? And that is what a reflection is. And you'll notice that this dot is the exact same distance away from the line as this dot over here, right? That's called a reflection, right? If you have a dot on one side of a line and I say reflect it over that line, then you would essentially be doing that, showing me the exact same distance from the other one, okay? And it works on this one here. I'll show you the first example, right? Where I have you reflect the point 4, 0 over the y-axis. And it looks very similar to what I just showed you, right? Because we've got a dot here, and we've got a dot here. Looks just like that. But basically, I'll give you this coordinate right here, and I will say reflect this over the y-axis. So you will then take that dot, and you will reflect it over the y-axis, and you will tell me that point right there. Okay? So basically, it's just the same distance away, just on the other side. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and then we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and then plot it right there. Okay, let's take a look at a couple examples. Let's say I gave you this dot right here, and I said this was point A. And I told you to reflect point A over the y-axis. Where would that point be? Well, first you'd have to find the y-axis. This is the y-axis. Now we've got to reflect point A over it to the other side like we did that piece of paper. And we're going to plop it right over here. Now, the best way to be the most accurate is not just to take your fingers and go, do, 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 do. No, it's to actually count how far away it is from the y-axis. It's 1, 2 away, right? 1, 2. And then do the exact same thing on the other side. Just count 2 away on the other side. 1, 2. Looks like it's going to be right there. And then you would give me the coordinates of that point, right? That point would be, okay, we got to get there. So we first have to move left or right. Well, it looks like we're moving left. So we're going to go -2. And then we're going to go up 4. So that's -2, 4. And that would be the answer to that question. I could also ask you to reflect it over the x-axis as well. So maybe I give you this point down here. And I say this is point B. And I say reflect B over the x-axis. In this case, you're going to reflect it this way, right? Because you want to reflect it over the x-axis. So we're going to take this point B and go right up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to count from B to the x-axis, 1, 2, 3 spots. And then I'm just going to go, okay, well, 1, 2, 3 spots over there. And that's going to be that point right there. And then what I'm going to do is give you you're going to have to tell me what the coordinate is there, which it is over 4, up 3. So that would be 4, 3. And that's reflections. The next type of question, and the last type of question we're going to be giving you is we're going to ask you, we might ask you the distance between 2 points on a coordinate plane. So I could give you a point here and a point here, and I could ask you for the distance between them. Let's say this is point A and point B, and I could say what is the distance between point A and point B, and all you have to do is count the spaces between. Start on point A, and then we're going to jump space to space here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you would say that the distance between point A and point B is 9 units. Normally you would say something like a measurement, like inches or something, but we don't know what it is. So in this case, we just say units. 9 units, right? For example, or I could give you another one and say, what is the distance between point A and point C? And in this case, you'd be counting down, but it's the same thing. It's just distance, right? So you then count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then this one would be 10 away. So that's the other type of question we could get into today. But that's about it for coordinate practice that we're going to do. So today and tomorrow, do your best in these assignments, guys. Ask me any questions that you got, and then I'll see you guys in class. Peace out.